We'll open up the hearing on Senate Bill 321. Adam, could you give us a briefing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 321 would designate the junction of I-35 and US Highway 69 and 18th Street Expressway in Johnson County as a Representative Robert M. Tomlinson Memorial Interchange. Highway signs designating the interchange would not be placed until the customary requirements for the installation of commemorative highway signs are met, which would include the Secretary of Transportation receiving sufficient costs from gifts and donations to cover the cost of the sign, plus 50% to pay for future maintenance or replacement costs for the signs. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Committee questions? None. Thank you, Adam. We'll turn our attention to the proponents. First up, Philip Tomlinson. Welcome to the committee.
The mic's on and everything. We're off to a good start. Chairman Peterson, members of the committee, my name is Philip Tomlinson. I am the oldest son of Bob Tomlinson. Before I get into my testimony, I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work. And when you work this bill, it has been an agreement with Senator Dietrich, KDOT, and our family that there will be an amendment forthcoming. We view it as favorable, just to give you a heads up on that. All right, now into the reason that we're here. You're going to hear a lot about my dad today. I could tell you as many personal stories and make you miss all of your other committees with the stories I have to tell. But I will try to keep it brief and not Senate brief, but actually brief. Bob, throughout his career, embodied what it meant to be a Kansan. He advocated for his district. He cared about all. And he was a great family man and father. An example about advocating his district that I like to tell, especially for the Transportation Committee, is when he started in the legislature in 1993, I-35 and 18th Street Expressway, as you were exiting, did not mention Roland Park, Kansas. Roland Park, for those of you not familiar with how Shawnee Mission, Kansas works, is one of the small combined cities in northeast Johnson County and has a population less than 10,000. I know most, if not all of you, have cities in your district that have less than 10,000, and you understand that having a major thoroughfare mention your city is important to commerce in that city. During his time in the legislature, Bob worked with KDOT to advocate and get Roland Park mentioned. And if you've traveled through Kansas City in rush hour, you know that to see that there's commerce right there off the interstate and to escape the traffic is big. When you talk about Bob caring for all, Bob was an alternative school teacher in the Shawnee Mission District. The alternative schools teach and educate some of our most vulnerable Kansans. Since his passing a year ago, I have had multiple of his students reach out to me and talk about how they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Bob. There was never a stranger that didn't become a friend of Bob's. Whether or not you were for him or against him, you couldn't help but laugh at his stories. And then finally, to talk about his family man, his time as a family man, one of the titles that he would send the best. The most prominent example I have of that ties to me personally is to talk about keeping your feet moving. It was a motto we had when we traveled all throughout the country. Throughout this last year, losing him right in the middle of studying for the bar exam, as I mentioned in my written testimony, is not easy. But I kept my feet moving as he would want, and my guardian angel helped me pass. Folks, friends, members of this committee, as I conclude, this isn't just a memorial of a fallen colleague in the legislature. It is a memorial and a statement to all Kansans that this is a man who embodied what Kansas meant, what being a Kansan meant. It is a sign to let future generations know how to lead effectively, how to be there for others, and how to be a great family person. I humbly ask your support and passage of Senate Bill 321, and I will make myself available for any and all questions that you may have.
Committee, any questions? See none, thank you very much.
Got off easy, we'll take it.
Next up, we have Carol Tomlinson.
Chairman Peterson and members of the Senate Transportation Committee, as you said, my name's Carol Tomlinson. I'm Bob's wife. This is going to be hard. I'm here today to ask for passage of Senate Bill 321. You're going to hear a lot about Bob's impact on the community. I'm not going to go over my notes there. I'm just going to read. As his wife, I would be so touched and honored to have I-35 U.S. Highway 69 interchange designated, as the Robert M. Tomlinson Memorial Interchange. I believe it would be a lovely and lasting tribute to Bob, and I'm sure it will bring a smile to the face of anyone who knew Bob. I know it will always bring a smile to mine, knowing that Bob's legacy will be honored with such a lasting memorial. I hope you will pass out Senate Bill 321, the Representative Robert M. Tomlinson Memorial Interchange, favorably. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming up and submitting the testimony. Next up, we have Chris Tomlinson. Chris, welcome to the committee.
Quite a bit taller than my mom. Chairman Peterson and members of the Senate Transportation Committee, my name is Chris Tomlinson. Kansas Senate Bill 321 has a profound meaning to my family and to the state. Robert, also known as Bob Tomlinson, is my father, and I am his youngest son. My dad passed away unexpectedly on February 11, 2025 at his home in Leavenworth County. Truly one of the hardest days of my life as yet. The loss was immense, not only to my family, but also to the state of Kansas. Many people, including myself, looked up to him for comfort, guidance, and inspiration. He provided these through his many roles as he held throughout his career, from a school teacher to a civil servant, to being a loving husband, father, and grandfather. Each one of his roles, I know he enjoyed beyond words can describe today. Growing up, I was lucky enough to listen to his stories about being able to help. Not only did he help his students find themselves, he truly inspired each one of them to reach for the stars. As many of his students reach out to our family and explain their impact he had on their lives during our time of grief. My dad also had a way with words that just made sense. No matter who you were, he could explain anything to you. Often I was there as he gave a speech on the house floor or a lecture in his classroom. Even being young, when he spoke, I found myself understanding. Being young, I would also go on errands with him. This is where I truly got to know my dad. We would go to the bank and the post office and even take an occasional trip on a political adventure. I would watch him engage with Kansans where he would listen to what they needed and work towards a solution for them all. This was truly awe-inspiring. I would remember he would ensure he was doing everything he could to hear and be their voice. As I continued to grow, I began to understand the impact of those errands that taught me everything that I am today. Someone who is eager to help, eager to listen, and eager to do the right thing for someone that I may not even know, an art that truly takes skill. He further taught me to stand up for what I believe in and not be afraid to let my voice be heard. Today is that day. During my grieving process of my dad's passing, many people shared wonderful stories about his life and how he inspired them. These are wonderful stories, all of which I wish I could document forever. By having the interchange of I-35 and 18th Street Expressway or US Highway 69 is one way to document these stories. Many people travel through the interchange every day. Some will remember who he was and how he inspired them. And for those who may not know him, they just might see his name and look him up to learn who he was and the impact he had on the state of Kansas. By passing Senate Bill 321 not only means a tremendous amount to our family, but also serves as a great reminder of what it means to be a Kansan. Thank you.
Committee, any questions for Chris? Seeing none, thank you for being here. Next, we have Ryan Peterson, who spells his last name correctly.
Saw that. It's like, how many times have you been spelled S-O-N, you know? Ryan Peterson has a lot of documents waiting for him if he wants to come pick it up at my house. Chairman Peterson and committee members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to you all today. My name is Ryan Peterson, no relation to the chairman. I'm a local attorney here in Topeka and a family friend of the Tomlinson family, and I'm here to encourage support for Senate Bill 321. By now, I'm sure many of you are well versed in Mr. Tomlinson's legacy, so I need not to go into detail. However, what I can add is an outside view on the topic. You see, Mr. Tomlinson, or Bob's legacy, as a representative here in Kansas and subsequent service as Assistant Insurance Commissioner, were before my time. I just made Kansas my home a few years ago, but what I can testify to, after knowing him for his last couple of years of life and studying what I can about his legacy, is one important thing. He put people first and politics second. Bob had no issue working with whoever he needed to, across the aisle or not, if it helped Kansas. He not only turned to bipartisanship, he embraced it. And in times like these, when the world seems ever more divided every day, it would do us well to remember that. If political ideologies got in the way, Bob found a way around that. And one of the best ways to remember this idea of putting Kansans first is by honoring those who live that out every single day. And this is exactly what Senate Bill 321 does. It honors Bob Tomlinson, a man who embodied this ideal. Now, as I conclude, I'll leave you all with one more thought on this matter. This bill is something more than just naming an interchange on a road. It's about making a statement. When Kansas puts a name to something, it attaches a meaning as well. And the meaning that this bill sends to everyone who will read the words Representative Robert M. Tomlinson Interchange Memorial is that Kansas, no matter what else is going on in the world or the rest of the U.S., Kansas puts its people above all else. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all today, and I can stand for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Committee, any questions for Ryan? Thank you for taking the time to come up here and share.
All right, thank you all.
Next up, we have Jeff Jackson, Dean of Washburn Law School. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, sometimes I come before these committees in my capacity as a constitutional law professor, sometimes as Dean of Washburn University School of Law. But today I am proud to come before the committee on behalf of my wife and myself as a Kansan to testify on behalf of this bill. So I've known Bob Tomlinson for quite a while. In fact, he stands as the only politician that I have ever walked door to door because my then girlfriend, now wife, was Bob's first campaign manager, and I was desperate to impress her. But from these cynical beginnings, I grew to know Bob as a person and to really understand that Bob Tomlinson epitomized for me the ideal of what a public servant should be. He did not care where an idea came from. His only thought was, is it good for the people of Kansas? It is for that reason that I come here today and I ask you to support Senate Bill 321. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk today, and I will stand for questions.
Thank you. Committee, any questions? Seeing none, thank you for coming up and sharing. Next up, we have Mayor Popa, Roland Park. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. I will not take up much time. Unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity to meet Representative Tomlinson, but if he is anything like his son, Philip, he was an amazing person, and by all accounts, it sounds like he was. I do implore you to please pass out of committee this bill and commemorate Representative Tomlinson. I'm honored to be able to represent part of his former district, the city of Roland Park, and a memorial at that intersection is perfect because he knew how to work with everyone. And right there, you have an intersection between Johnson County, Wyandotte County, and the state of Kansas. And it just seems very fitting that a memorial should be there. And I thank you for your time and stand for any questions.
Any questions? Senator Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not really a question, but a comment. And I feel like it's probably the most appropriate time to make it, but I have the privilege of representing Roland Park in the Kansas Senate and of representing Representative Tomlinson's House district is encompassed in my Senate district. And I just cannot overstate the regard that Representative Tomlinson is and was held in our community, and the impact that he made certainly across the state, but particularly in the district that he really so ably served. And one of the great things that has happened to me is when I first ran for office in 2020, I was able to develop a relationship with Representative Tomlinson, who's just a tremendous person and great mentor who took an interest in me, and I'm just forever grateful for that. And so I just want to echo that everything you've heard about how great Representative Tomlinson is and the tremendous impact he made is absolutely true, and it would be such a meaningful honor and very fitting for our community to have this lasting memorial to his incredible service to our community and to Kansas. So thank you.
Thank you. Committee, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you coming up. Committee note, we have written testimony from Chris Courtwright, Don Garrett, Patrick Carter, Kent Glasscock, Gene Vickery, Jennifer Smith, Andrew Curtis. A lot of good testimony in there, good reading. Committee, it is my intention to work this bill soon, so stand by, probably could be even tomorrow. Do we have any opponents? Any neutrals? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 321. With that, committee, I'd like to turn our attention to Senate Bill 325. Adam, could you give us a briefing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 325 would amend the requirements for the display of license plates on motor vehicles. The bill would do, as you recall, is that it would expand the current prohibition from attaching and displaying on any vehicle a license plate which is covered in whole or in part with any clear or opaque material or any plastic-like material that affects the plate's visibility or reflectivity. It would be under the bill, it would include as part of a violation to operate a vehicle with any vehicle with the license plate covered. It also would expand and define clearly legible, clearly visible, legibility or visibility under the bill. So that way it's stated in its statute as to what those terms would include.
Any questions? Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Senator Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move that we pass out Senate Bill 325 favorably for passage.
Here's a motion, seconded by Senator Bowers. Do we want to make it a consent calendar bill? No. Excellent. With that, any discussion, questions? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to turn our attention to Senate Bill 366. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 366 would designate a bridge on Interstate 135 in Sedgwick County as the Don Snyder Memorial Bridge. This would be the bridge that connects the northbound I-135 and southbound I-235 down in Sedgwick County. Customary requirements for installing of commemorative signs would be in effect, meaning that the Secretary of Transportation would be required to receive the cost plus 50% prior to installation of the signs.
Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just because of the schedule this year, this session, I know you might like to lay bills over, but with Mr. Tomlinson's, or the Honorable Tomlinson's bill, would it be in order to combine these two, or would you rather keep them separate, Mr. Chairman?
I would rather keep them separate. This one here, if someone doesn't want to carry it, probably could go on a consent calendar.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But I believe there's an amendment coming for the other one. Committee, I guess we're ready for a motion on 366. Senator Klemp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we move forward with Senate Bill 366, which designates a bridge on Interstate I-35 in Sedgwick County as a Don Schneider Memorial Bridge,
And place it on a consent calendar.
and place it on the consent calendar.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Schmidt. Further questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd like to turn our attention to Senate Bill 367, the golf cart bill. Not quite as easy of a bill. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 367 would provide cities the authority to allow driving of golf carts upon sidewalks. Current law prohibits the driving of any vehicle upon a sidewalk or sidewalk area, except if it's part of a temporary driveway or driveway. This bill would allow the governing body of any city by an ordinance to allow for the driving of a golf cart upon a sidewalk. However, the bill would restrict such drivers of golf carts to individuals 16 years of age or older and who hold a valid Class C driver's license.
Thank you. I have Senator Klemp and Senator Schmidt. Senator,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think there is a amendment that was being worked up. Do we have that? And can we have the revisor walk us through that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, this amendment would add an additional requirement that golf carts would only be able to be used within a city who would pass an ordinance where the sidewalk would be located within 1 mile of a golf course.
Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't know if you wanted discussion before or after the motion, but, you know, I'm from a small community out in central Kansas, and the golf course happens to be a mile or two from town. But you see golf carts all over the town I mean, I just think it should be a local ordinance that they decide whether they can be on the sidewalks or not within a community that may or may not have a golf course. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I believe that's what this bill does. The governing body on line 10 of any city is hereby authorized by ordinance duly passed to allow for driving golf carts. So the cities do have to pass it. Senator Clays.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would the carrier of this, the Senate bill, accept a conceptual amendment, since I don't have one with me, that states that it's to and from the golf course, right? Like this, the way this is written, you know, people can just go out cruising on our local sidewalks with a golf cart. I'm not sure if that was the intention, but the way it's written now, that appears to be what we're allowing. And seems like, at least people I've talked to that are interested in this, they just want to be able to drive across the street to go to the golf course.
We can accept consensus right now. We are on this amendment. You could probably pass both of them if you wanted the mile restriction.
As a freshman, I'm just going to suggest that, and hopefully someone can help me out about how to make it happen through all the machinations of the committee's rules.
We're on the amendment. Any further questions or discussion on the amendment? Senator Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While I support Senator Clay's intention, I'm worried that we'll get into prima facie discussions around whether or not the drivers of the golf carts are carrying golf clubs, and then, you know, maybe they're just going to the club to have dinner. So I think it could get like kind of messy and convoluted and not productive. So that's my only concern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that. I think good comedy should always, you know, go back to a previous topic and bring that up. So well done. But I do think that it is possible to note when a bunch of 16-year-old kids are zooming up and down the sidewalk and with no particular place to go. I don't know that that's very difficult to discern, having been a 16-year-old. And so I stand by my amendment. I think it's a great amendment. I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly, but nonetheless, thank you.
Senator Klemp, we'll let you offer your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would also accept the changes to the amendment to and from a golf course. So the amendment would read, we would look,
we would give the revisor technical latitude on that if he wanted.
Thank you, yes.
You state your purpose, and we'll see if we get a second, and we'll go back to discussion.
So I move forward with the proposed amendment on such sidewalks as located within 1 mile of a golf course, with the latitude for the Senator Clays's adjustment to and from the golf course.
Excellent. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Dietrich. Further discussion, Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess maybe I didn't make it clear, but I'd ask the carrier of the motion, so the rural communities that are not within a mile, they would not have the option for their residents to be able to drive on the sidewalk with your amendment.
Senator Clamp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you're asking for some additional latitude from the revisor to add in where rural can adapt as necessary to and from a golf course?
Thank you. They, so, Mr. Chairman, I'm just not wanting to micromanage the legislation. I'm just thinking we should give the latitude to the locals to decide whether they want to allow golf carts on the sidewalk or not. That's all I'm looking at. And I think we're restricting that with the amendment, but thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And if this does for cities allow, it has to, the locals have the choice, but not for the mile now. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And with the amendment, if the sidewalk is within a mile of the golf course and the sidewalk is also in a school zone, would the golf cart be allowed to drive on the sidewalk during school hours? I guess maybe that's a revisor question or.
I mean, yes, there would be no prohibition that I'm aware of that would prohibit that.
The cities could do that, though.
But the state's not making it a statewide policy that taking a position either way on it with the bill, is my understanding, leaving it to the locals.
Leaving it to the locals.
Leaving it to the locals. Thank you.
Further discussion on the amendment? Senator Tyson, do you have further discussion? Senator Cluse.
This kind of went back and forth. Just clarity again on the 1 mile. So now are we amending it that they can go beyond 1 mile, just back and forth, city's decision, or no?
I heard it's 1 mile plus the back and forth.
As I understand it currently stands, I think I overheard, it's correct that it'd be a 1 mile and the purpose of going to and from the golf course. So there's kind of the two components in the amendment.
Senator Cluse.
Well, the only other thought was, like Senator Tyson was saying too, the distance. So what if it's rural and it's 2 miles?
You can put something in for counties after we're off this amendment. Senator Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I find myself on this issue, on this amendment, finding a lot of logic in what Senator Tyson is proposing. I don't know if Senator Klemp would be open to amending it to get rid of the geographic limitations to make it a little cleaner. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, that's the amendment, so just support the amendment with your vote or not, but thank you, Mr. Chair.
We're back on the amendment. Senator Cluse.
I think that was, I think what Senator Tyson was saying was just give that to the locals, let them decide that piece.
That would be a no on the amendment. Would you can withdraw if you want. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the discussion about, regulating the use of golf carts and whether it's, a statewide policy or leave it to the locals. And, in light of other discussions of the committee, particularly regarding school zones and, are we going to leave it up to the locals whether you can drive a golf cart on a sidewalk during school hours? And given other discussions in the committee, it seems a bit inconsistent, but we'll see where the discussion goes. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's an amazing golf cart conversation. So and I'm comfortable pulling that amendment if we need to and leaving that in the hands of the locals. So the goal is to and from a golf course was the intent. So if we want to tweak that to go to and from the golf course with no distance, I'm fine with that as well. So it feels like that.
It would probably be cleanest if you wanted to pull it, to pull it, make sure it's okay with your second. And from.
That, so moved.
Is it okay with the second to withdraw? Yes. So now you have a motion, it's just to and from a golf course?
That is the motion.
Senator Tyson, are you seconding?
No. Senator Peterson, discussion on before you make the motion. I think the bill is just fine to allow locals to decide. And that way, if you've got a small community, you may have somebody wanting to go to church in their golf cart. I mean, I'm not a fan of golf carts on the sidewalk by any means, but we've got golf carts, we allow them in the communities, it's a local decision on the roads. Now we're just deciding whether it's a local decision on the sidewalk or not. If you want to make it to and from the golf course, that's the committee's prerogative, yes. But I just want it general.
Senator Clamp.
I do feel like the conversation was to and from a golf course, so I would like to have the amendment be to and from a golf course with the distance to be provided to be determined by local.
Do we have a second? Stated by, I believe, Senator Dietrich. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. Amendment's adopted. We're back on the bill. I'll make a motion that we pass this bill out favorably as amended. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Klemp. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Senator Klemp, would you mind carrying this bill on the floor?
That would be great. Thank you, sir.
I do appreciate that. My knees are not what they used to be. Well, the knees are good. The muscles around them aren't. Well, we'll try one more today. We're on such a good roll now. Let's turn our attention to Senate Bill 403. We heard this one yesterday. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 403 would provide for the Pheasants Forever and the Quail Forever license plates. These would be distinctive license plates sponsored by Pheasants Forever, Inc. They'd be subject to the customary requirements, and that individuals seeking to get a plate would pay a yearly royalty payment, an amount set by Pheasants Forever, Inc. Between $25 and $100. The only additional provision is that these plates, applications could be made for these plates beginning on July 1 of 2026. But other than that, all other customary requirements would apply.
Sounds like it could be consent calendar. Committee, what's your pleasure on the bill? Looking for motion.
I would make a motion that we pass out favorably on the consent calendar.
Seconded by Senator Klemp. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Committee, I am going to go my policies that I've long held for a long time, which is I never work a memorial bill be on the same day that I hear it. Many of you know the reason. I didn't know Bob personally knew who he was. I don't believe there's any issues. So I'm going to work the bill. Adam, I believe we just heard it, so there's no need for a refresher. Senator Dietrich, do you have an amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I've discussed it with the family. You saw me step out for a moment. We're going to rename this the Representative Robert M. Tomlinson Memorial Bridge, because it's a bridge over 69 Highway and 18th Street. And so instead of an interchange, it's just a technicality, but it's going to be a bridge, and everybody's in agreement. We talked to KDOT. There was just some, it's just a technical thing, but we're all in agreement. It will be the Robert M. Tomlinson Bridge, Memorial Bridge, and the two signs will be there. It'll right by the, it'll be a Roland Park exit, but it's a bridge.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Amendment is adopted. We're back on the bill. Committee, what's your pleasure with the bill?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would like to move that we pass out Senate Bill 321 as amended favorably.
Heard the motion, seconded by Senator Albright. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Senator Dietrich, would you mind carrying this bill?
I would very much like to carry this bill. Thank you. It would be an honor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Committee, that's all the business before us. Unless somebody has any, we are adjourned.